Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 3rd, 2022 at approximately 6:57 a.m. PST. So before I get into things, a couple things to get straight. Number one, I returned to this world, to this lifetime, at this specific time for one primary purpose, and that is to remind everyone in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I call myself a spiritual guide for one reason. Every tool I offer, if I try that again, every tool I offer, if it applies to my life, I put it to use. Okay, a prime example of one that I've given people, of a tool I've offered that I have never used, is I've shown people how to quit smoking without withdrawals. Now, I never started smoking, and I'm not about to test it myself, but I've got literally thousands of clients that I've handed this method to, where people have actually stopped smoking. I've never used it. I'm not about to. Okay, but that said, every tool that does apply to my life, I do use, and am currently using. Every philosophy of life that I talk about are the ones I live by, which brings us to the only three laws I ever pay attention to. But bear in mind, compare any law you follow. Doesn't matter whether it's spiritual, civil, legal, a support group, doesn't matter. Look at it and compare it to these three, and I do believe you will find that any one of the laws that you follow fall into one of these three. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Okay, now you take a look at those. Now the advantage I have is this. I have to remember three laws, not 750,000 laws. Okay, I don't have to separate civilization into its component parts, as in the poor, the sick, the wealthy, the poor, the sick, the wealthy, the healthy. I don't have to worry about who is sleeping with who. I don't have to worry about who likes who. I don't even have to worry about skin color or gender affiliation. Okay. I'm very blunt about the way I look at things. But to be clear, what I talk about, okay, when people go, where are the facts? Well, I don't have statistics, as in I've never researched and I've seldom researched anything. Okay, I simply go on what feels right and what I remember. And understand, I remember past lives. Now, this is a live recording, meaning when I get done, I double check the date, then I post the thing as is. All the hiccups, all the twists and what have you, that's what you get. If you ever meet me in person, I deal with it exactly the same way. Now, the thing is, some of the tools I work with are a little odd. Okay, as in they certainly go against what you may have been told. Okay, but I got one question for you. You've got two things. You've got two emotions to look at. Okay, two paths, and they are not they are mutually combined. It's a balance between two paths. The question is which one you're going to focus on. You can focus on love. In other words, helping other people, encouraging other people, regardless of whether they're doing better than you in certain areas. Okay. Or, and you can help bolster their sense of self by simply pointing what they're doing right, by maximizing the positive and minimizing the negative. Or you can choose to live in fear. Okay. In other words, make other people say things to hurt other people, to make them feel less, to make them feel unworthy, to help them feel, to encourage them to feel depressed. Okay. And by maximizing the negative and minimizing the positive. Now, the choice is yours. But the question I've got for you is this. where it comes to your choice in life, do you desire to follow a walkway that says, here's what you can do? These are the things you can do. Or are you going to go with, these are the things you can't do? What are you not capable of? Now, I could look at what I'm not capable of. And it boils down to, I haven't taken the time to look at it. Now, to be honest with you, I'm about as tolerant as I can get, as far as I'm aware. Probably could be more tolerant of people making miscalculations. People that suffer from what I call true ignorance. In other words, for whatever reason, whether you didn't put the effort in or you're just not grasping it. True ignorance is you don't actually understand it. Okay. Stupidity, I've got a pretty big problem with. And the fact of the matter is, I've chosen to disregard the whole idea of being politically correct. I do not worry about somebody's station in life. How much money you've got has never been an impression, has never made a big impression on me. Probably should have. I'd have been in better financial shape earlier. Okay. But the reality of it is this. I did become a very good procrastinator. The saying was, never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. I didn't even have the drive to do that. I'd go, never do what you can put off. Now, I've broken out of that pattern for the most part. I still have hindrances there. I still have obstacles. Question. Do you desire to stay living in the same life pattern you're in? The struggles, the depression, the financial dissidence. Do you desire to follow a spiritual leader that tells you, fear everything out there? The Creator loves everybody, but make sure you fear him. Okay, him, her, it, whatever. They love everybody equally, but you make sure you fear them and do exactly what you're told, because that is a vindictive, vengeful, self-serving individual. Now, they won't tell you self-serving, but they do tell you wholeheartedly, at least I don't think they do. But I have heard multiple different spiritual guides go, you have to fear this. And I'm telling you right off the bat, that came out wrong. I'm not telling you. I'm doing my best not to. But I will tell you this. You've got a choice. You can stay in that withdrawn state, in that subdued state. You can continue listening to people, whether they're face-to-face that you're dealing with, or are they on the news? Are they standing in front of a video? Are you listening to me because I'm telling you, do this or you will have a miserable life? Absolutely not. Okay, I'm not the one to tell you whether your life is miserable. I am the one to tell you I'm not content with mine. Okay, and I am making adjustments to my life because of the fact that I'm not content with it. Okay, now the reality is you may not be up to major changes. Okay, I'm aiming at getting my health in order. And in a couple of days, I'll check my weight again. But here's the thing. Okay, I watch people, I listen to people, and they go, oh, I do an hour's exercise every day. Frankly, I'll admit it, I'm lazy. So I figure, let's see, I do in the morning, and bear in mind, about a week and a half ago, I could not touch the floor with my hand. I could not touch my toes. Period. I'd stopped exercising and I couldn't touch my toes. So part of it was because my back was really causing a problem. So I started by simply bending down enough to touch just below my knee. Okay, but I only do, let's see, touching toes is 15 reps. Lifting my legs is, so I spend a minute I do less than 5 minutes of exercise a day. Okay, aside from the walking around I do. Okay, and that's usually inside my apartment. Okay, so in doing that, I am now at a point where I can actually I can actually bend my, quite often, like I can touch my toes now without a problem, without my back giving out. Okay, but this is one step at a time. If you can't stand, and I just read this on Facebook, it was great. If you can't, if you do not have the capacity to wash all your dishes, wash one. If you don't have the ability right now, you don't have the stamina to clean your entire living room, clean a part of it, one step at a time. To this end, I know I have to wash my kitchen floor. I've been postponing it because, well, frankly, I hate the job. But I have decided one of the things on my list today, I'm going to, and this is going to sound a little tedious to some of you, but in order to get it done properly, because I desire to bring the shine back up, and we are talking about tiling in my kitchen. I'm in an apartment, okay, and the tiling should really be replaced. But I'm going to figure out how big it is, how many squares I've got to work with, and then bring each one up one at a time until it's to the level I desire it, and then move through the kitchen. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, I will get the whole thing done. And yeah, I did say the next couple of weeks, and the reason for that is because I'm planning on getting down there literally on my hands and knees, not doing a surface clean. When I'm out again today, I'll be picking up a brush designed specifically for the old-fashioned, yes, I'm a dinosaur, the old-fashioned method of cleaning tile. Okay, but you have a choice to make. Are you going to continue living the life that you have been living? Your call. Be my guest. Okay, if you're happy with it, then quite frankly, you're probably not listening to me. Lord knows I'm not that exciting to listen to. Okay, but if you're not content with where your life is, then I will quite readily walk you through it and show you how, one step at a time, I took my life from being completely overrun with chaos, completely overrun with junk that I had collected. Okay, and living to the point of one paycheck away from living on the street. Today, I am way beyond that. Okay, I am not a millionaire. So if you're hoping I'm going to give you the secret to being a millionaire, I will. Right now, go talk to a millionaire. Find out how they did it. Okay, when you desire to do something, talk to somebody that has done it successfully. That is the real key to success. Talk to the person that's done it. In my case, I can show you how I took my life from literally being behind the eight ball with finances, being an absolute pack rat. I was drinking a 26er a night. Okay. I was drinking, and it really didn't matter what the alcohol was. For the most part, there are a few I don't like. And doing a minimum of 6 lines of cocaine a night. And we're just not going to count the amount of beer and the amount of marijuana I went through. Okay, we're just not. Some people say I did my fair share. Well, I did way more than my fair share. But I will walk you through how to get past it. How to get past this point of sleeping sleeping late every day. How do you get up? How do you change the mindset so that you can, in what probably seems like against all odds, you can regain control of your own life. Tomorrow, and the only reason it's to wait until tomorrow is because I gotta wait for them to be available. Tomorrow, I'm going to start the process of taking another young lady and showing her how to reclaim power over her life and how to get her body working so she can move. I already years ago showed a young woman how to get out of a wheelchair. Okay. And don't get me wrong, some of you are stuck in situations you just cannot get out of at this point. The timing is not possible. And there are things that fit into that category. Okay, like there is no way that I'm going to gain another 3 inches to my height. You think about it, when I was 18, I was 5'10" and a half. Okay, I'm 59 now and I'm only 5'8", which is good because 3 years ago I was only 5'7". Don't ask. I have no idea how I pulled that one off. But this is according to medical records. Now, a chap I know had a stroke a couple of years before I did. And he made a comment the other day, about a month or two back. He made the comment that he has come to the conclusion that he will not, he has healed as far as he's going to. And he's stuck with the way he is now. Now, I got thinking about it. When I had my stroke, I lost the entire use of my left side and I couldn't speak. Well, quite frankly, overcame the speech problem. Although some people probably think I shouldn't be speaking, but, what the heck. But I listened to this chap when he said, I reached a point I know I'm never going to heal anymore. I'm just going to accept it. Well, I'm lousy at accepting things. Okay. So here's the thing. You've got a choice. Are you going to accept your life exactly where it is? If you're going to, and I'm not telling you who to go to church, who to go to worship, if you will, go to church, go to which temple, go to which covenant. I'm not telling you what to do with that. Do what you will. You gather around people that are supporting you. Absolutely. But I will tell you, if you're going to listen to somebody, if you go to a building to listen to somebody tell you, fear your creator. Fear everything around you. Okay. It's like I was talking to one chap and he called me up one day and he says, I'm really, really worried. I says, about what? He goes, well, I'm really, really worried about is the if the government's tapping my phone calls. And I says, now do understand, I've got no functional proof on any of this. Okay. But I looked at the guy and I said, well, I'll give you this. Because I've got some good news and some bad news for you. Now, I have no proof, and I still, regardless of what I'm about to say, I still utilize my computer. I've got my computer on most of the time. Okay. But I mean, you think about it. You have all these viruses running around the computer and running around computers. There are search engines when you go on Google. Okay. You type in, you want to look for something, and up it comes. Right. Now, that requires a search engine. That requires a computer programmer to watch what's going through the computer. So I told the guy, I says, okay, well, let's be straight about something. In my opinion, you are being watched. You're being watched by the people around you, by the government, by the off-worlders, as in alien races, ancient races. You're being watched by Gaia herself, Mother Earth. I call her Esau because that's what she told me her name was. These are all people that are watching you. And to be clear, you're watching everybody around you. And he goes, well, that's what I'm worried about. I says, well, here's the other part. And you're not going to like this part. Many of you are going to look at this going, well, that was pretty rude. Okay. I looked at the guy and says, the other part of the news, and I don't know which is more important, but you're just not that important. If you're not doing anything that's breaking the law, or that is encouraging someone to break the law, you're not doing anything that's worth really paying attention to. I mean, honestly, you're doing your yard work, and a city councilor drives by, okay, or bylaw enforcement drives by, and you're pushing a lawnmower around, okay, and you're cutting your lawn, and the machine you're using is legal in the whole 9 yards. It's your machine. They don't care what color your lawnmower is. They don't care if you're cutting the lawn with a and I have no idea what names of lawnmowers are out there. I live in an apartment, which was really funny when the guy tried convincing me to buy a lawnmower from it. I'm like, what, pray tell, am I going to buy a lawnmower for? But yes, everything is connected. People watch people. This is what I do most of the time. If I do ever leave the house, which I do, I'm doing so more and more lately. Okay. But the reality of it is, you have a choice. You can live in fear if you're not doing anything that is categorically wrong. Okay. Like when people talk about speed limits. They shouldn't why are the cops pulling me over for speeding? Well, I love the bumper sticker I saw one day. Okay. All those against speeding tickets, please raise your right foot. Okay. Now, to me, that was brilliant. Personally, I used to drive with a lead foot. As a matter of fact, I got away I got lucky. I don't know how. I went through a small town where the speed limit was 50. I clipped through it at just shy of 120 and got away at about 3 o'clock in the morning. This would be 20 years ago now. Yeah, about 20 years ago. Okay. But I lucked out and I got away with a verbal warning. But the reality is, if I had ever been pulled over for speeding, like many people I know have been, they complain they pulled me over for speeding. Why did they pull me over for speeding? Everybody else was speeding. Probably. But they don't matter. They pulled you over because you were. Okay. It's the same as when you're looking at any traffic laws. If you're following the laws of if you're following the laws of the road, the rules of the road, then it doesn't matter what the rules are. I do agree. If rules do not apply to everybody, there's going to be a problem. But you've got a choice. Okay, because number 2, karmic law, you must, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Something that falls inside that. You must follow the laws of the land in which you are. Okay, so if the law says this is what you do, that's what you do. Okay, but you've got to choose whether or not you're going to live in fear of whether you get caught doing something wrong, or choose not to do it in the first place. That's your call. Okay, I loved a post I saw on Facebook the other day, just yesterday, I think, might have been this morning. But I looked at it and it shows a whole bunch of teenage boys from about 30 years ago. Okay, because it was posted by somebody about my age, I think. But it's like back when I was a kid, here's all these kids hanging around a car. They've all got their head in the engine and they're working on it. Right? And it's like, here's the kids when I was growing up, they were all underneath the hood of a car making it work. And then it shows a picture of kids today. Same age bracket, sitting on a computer. Sitting on a couch, playing on a PlayStation or something to that effect. Right? And there's playing there. And here are the kids today. They can't even change a tire. Now, I'm not a good example, because I'm not good at it either, but I'm quite willing to admit, if I have a problem, if I have a mechanical problem, I will flat out tell people I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even know how to functionally jump a car, as in using jumper cables and what have you. Okay, I am completely, where it comes to mechanical work, where it comes to computer work, I am right out of my element. Okay, I was asked the other day, I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that it's possible I'll be going on to a documentary, okay, on UFOs, on alien races and what have you. But the guy gets back to me this morning. I think it was this morning, might have been last night, but you get the idea. Gets on the phone to me the last time he got on the phone. He's like, "Do you have a lapel mic?" I says no, but I can get one. But the reality is I've never used one. I've never installed one. Okay, and most of the time when I install something, I screw up my computer. Okay, because somebody was kind enough to get into my email the other day. Now, they got into it and tried sending a bunch of stuff through it. Fortunately, at the time I only had Windows Defender. Okay, the onboard antivirus system on my computer. Fortunately, it stopped anything from being sent out, but didn't stop them from continuing to try. So I went and I bought and I purchased the premium package of Avast antivirus. Now, I had it for years before, and long story short, I ended up getting off it. But got back on it the day I got off it, the day that I installed it, which was yesterday. I ran the scanner through my system, and my system turned around and went, "Great, no problem. Now it's stopped, and I've got no problem with my computer again." which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, but again, I know where my limits are. Now, some of it I could learn. I'm not an idiot, although I question that on occasion. Okay, you get to figure out that side of it. One of the other things I did, and I mentioned this before, if you've had a stroke and one of your arms doesn't work, even if all you've got is the ability to open your hand. Okay, like when I lost my left side, I was down to the fact if I could open my hand, I was doing good. Right? But here's a trick for you that worked for me absolutely. But do this in tandem with whatever help you're getting. In case you hadn't noticed, I like drinking coffee. Okay, quite frankly, because I don't like the flavor of water. Right, so what I did was I put my coffee cup over here. Okay, so because I like my coffee, it used to be I'd go to grab my coffee and I'd have to watch my hand and go, okay, now I'm getting hold of my coffee cup, and then carefully move it back. Now, I still have to pay attention to where it is, but that's getting better. I'm getting back to being able to use my peripheral vision over there. But the thing is, you have a choice to make. Are you going to live in fear of the future? In fear of what's coming? Which is what everybody's talking about right about now. This is how bad the world's going to get. Or are you going to live in the joy of what you actually have control over? Which is right here, right now. This is your time to shine. This is your time to say, I'm not living in fear anymore. Okay. Twisted Sister, a heavy rock band that some of you, especially my age, may remember, did a song one day called We Ain't Gonna Take It Anymore. Actually, I think it was called We Ain't Gonna Take It. I don't recommend songs very often, but that one has a very intriguing message. Okay, and I would recommend that you look it up on YouTube. Okay, it was by Twisted Sister, called We Ain't Gonna Take It. Listen to it. It has a real neat message about whether you're going to continue living the life you're on, fearing what's coming, fearing the way the world is, or are you going to do something in your life to change it? Now, I'm going to bring this to a close. Tomorrow, there's a lot of things happening here. Tonight, I will be on Spaced Out Radio from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time at spacedoutradio.com. If you've got questions on aliens, whatever's going on, get into one of the chat rooms and ask your questions, but remember to put them in bold. Dave Scott does a fantastic job of running the show. Okay. And most of the questions I will do my best to answer. Okay. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. PST, I will be going live with the concept of remembering yourself, figuring out who you are. Okay, so I will be back on then tomorrow. But for the moment, I'm going to call it a day. I've got a whole pile of things I got to get done. So I will leave you with this thought. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel, please. Spread this message to every individual you can run into. Every person in existence. Okay, and I will see you then. Until then, though, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.